If multicellular organisms only used mitosis to reproduce, all of their offspring would be exactly the same, because their genetic information would be identical. Consequently, there would be no variety in the species. Multicelled organisms, such as plants and animals, reproduce sexually. Two sex cells, one from the male and one from the female, are fused to make one new cell with half of the genetic material coming from the father and half from the mother. This is called fertilization. With meiosis, a special type of cell division occurs in the reproductive organs of both the male and the female. As in mitosis, the chromosomes replicate themselves, thus doubling the genetic material. Each chromosome now resembles an X shape, formed by two sister chromatids. But then something different happens. Each chromosome lines up with its corresponding partner and they exchange genetic material. This is known as crossing over. Now the chromosomes collect in the middle of the cell, and one chromosome from each pair is pulled to opposite ends of the cell. The cell divides in two, both containing half the number of the still attached chromatids. Each of these cells now divides, splitting the chromatids in half. By the end, we have 4 gamete cells, each containing half of the necessary DNA. If these cells were produced by a female organism, the gametes will be the ova or egg. If by a male, the sperm. When fertilization occurs, the egg fuses with the sperm and the 1/2 of the DNA from the mother merges with the 1/2 from the father, making a complete set of chromosomes. Once union has occurred, this single cell then divides through the process of mitosis and grows into an adult. Human beings, for example, begin as one cell and grow to become adults of approximately 100 trillion cells. The incredible number of gene combinations that results from this type of union ensures the genetic diversity of the species and the uniqueness of every individual.
Each of us is a unique individual, from the color of our hair and eyes to the shape of our lips. How is it that no two of us is exactly alike? That's because each of us is a combination of traits passed down to us from our parents. How does that happen? To find out, we have to go back billions of years to the first life forms to appear on Earth.
Those look like bacteria.
They are. And the first life forms were similar to modern-day bacteria. Tiny microscopic organisms, each consisting of a single cell.
Aren't all living things made up of cells?
Right. And bacteria are the smallest, simplest cells. Yet as simple as they are able to perform one remarkable feat. Can you guess what that is?
Multiply.
That's right. They are able to make exact copies of themselves, one after another, after another.
How do they know how to do that?
To find out, let's split this model of a bacterium in two. The inside of a bacterium is filled with a jelly-like fluid. Located within this fluid is a thin, ribbon-like loop called a chromosome, shown here in red. The chromosome carries information controlling all the cell's activities, including reproduction. There are hundreds of separate bits of information on the chromosome. They are referred to as genes.
So when a bacterium reproduces, it is actually following hundreds of separate instructions, or genes.
That's right.
They all look identical.
They are. That's because they have only one parent. The same is true for other single-celled life forms, like these microscopic pond organisms. They have only one parent. The same genes are passed down generation after generation. That's why all of these organisms are identical. But look at these kittens.
Aw, they're cute.
They're from the same litter, yet they're all different. They have different colors and different markings. That's because they have two parents and share the genes of both. Single-celled organisms need only one parent to reproduce. But most multicellular organisms, that is, organisms with many cells, need two parents in order to reproduce. Multicellular organisms include just about every plant and animal you're familiar with, including insects.